We're now live. Hey guys, my name's Jerry. I'm from Blue Monkey Media, and this is Speedway Chat Show. From my co-host in Wales, Childsy, how are you?
How are you, Jerry? Good, mate. Good.
Yeah, it's been a crazy 48 hours. It's been going crazy, hasn't it? Like, we've had 39,000 people this has reached, and so we've had 16,100 views. We've been viewed from all over the world. We've had 856 new followers just in the last few days, and the response from people, riders and managers, and it's been crazy.
It has, Jerry, hasn't it? It's been a mad 48 hours in terms of what we're doing. It's been a mad 48 hours in terms of big announcements coming out of Poland, which we should shed some light on tonight, hopefully, with our guest as well. But it's good to see some Speedway fans getting to hear from people that they should have already seen doing laps around their local track or on TV. So a mad 48 hours. I'm new to Facebook. Notifications have been nuts.
Yeah. So, do you want to introduce our guest for this evening?
Yeah, we started off with Chris Holder, didn't we? And we thought that's a good start. So we thought we'd give an up-and-coming rider a chance now to make his name on Facebook, an import from Australia. Now, in all seriousness, it's been great. He's a legend for doing it. He's making a lot of people happy. He's none other than the 3 times Speedway champion of the world, Britain's own Tai Woffinden.
What's going on, boys?
How are you?
Here he is. How are you, Tai, man?
Yeah, good.
Good.
Chilling.
Good. Welcome to the show, mate. And before we get into it, thanks very much for coming on, mate. It's a privilege.
Yeah.
No drama. I wouldn't say it's a privilege. I've spent many a times hanging out with you boys, so yeah, it's just a bit of a chit chat.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you went home to Perth in the winter. We're going to go over the whole thing going on in Poland and stuff. But one of the other things over this winter that's been a shock is the thing with Crumpy signing for Ipswich and riding in the UK, which was a bit of a shock to most. But when you went home, you actually rode with him at Pinjar Speedway. Did he let on a call that he was coming to England, or?
Yeah, we had a bit of a chinwag, but yeah, obviously I go back to Perth every year. Yeah, it's a beautiful place to spend the off season, and we just built a house out there, so that was nice to go back to. We built it last year and got the keys. I think we landed on the Saturday, moved in on the Sunday, furnished it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I was about sick of building flat pack.
In holiday mode.
Yeah, and then then pre-season. So there isn't really a holiday mode doing what we do, because you go straight out of your season into pre-season, and then when pre-season's finished, you're back into the season again. So this year's obviously been pretty strange so far. But yeah, going back to Perth, did the GB test matches out there. That was something that we've been trying to get organised for probably about 12 months. We started throwing the ideas out there. The president of the club, Marshall McDermott's a really good friend of mine. And last summer when we was out there, we were talking about GB test matches and seeing if we could get a GP there. So we got the ball rolling with both them things, but I think it'll be a bit tough to get a GP there. But who knows?
Get a big enough stand in there. It's a big enough track, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's all about the money.
Okay.
I don't know what the price is to run a GP, but yeah. I wouldn't want to be forking out the money for it.
I went to Pinjar and with Will James, and that little tiny track that's there, I was like, I'd never seen anything like it. And then they took me around the back to the other track, and I was like, yeah, that's more like it. But yeah, it's a cool little place.
Yeah, no, it's cool. That new track's only just been open, probably 2 years. I don't know, maybe like 6 months or something. But yeah, the little track, that's the one that my dad and all the other dads built. One track got closed down and none of the kids had anywhere to ride, so that's where the little track came from. All the dads just got together on the weekends and cracked open a few cans, lit a couple of bushfires, and flattened the land, and got it all built. So it was all
Cool.
volunteers, and can we have this off you, and can you sponsor us to 4 blocks, and can you give us 5 blocks, and it's got it built for pretty much nothing.
Wicked.
So Tai, obviously a lot of boys go to Australia for their time off. You come back and start setting up for what should be a pretty routine pre-season fitness training, etc., building bikes with your team, and COVID-19 comes along. Won't dwell on COVID-19 too much because we all know what everyone's going through. But I guess the main development now is Poland pushing forward to get some sort of racing going. And we've heard on different social media outlets this week that maybe Nicky Pedersen is saying no, Doyley's saying he is. What sort of detail can you go in about what's happening with you specifically, and any details around the rumours around pay cuts and things like that, if you can, mate?
The pay cuts aren't rumours. There's definitely conversations happening. Can't really elaborate on it too much for contractual reasons, but it is what it is. Everybody's in the same boat, and we understand the situation with the virus that's going on and what's going on in the world. And it's not just about Poland taking pay cuts. It's contacting your sponsors, talking to them, seeing where their involvement is. We don't know what's going on with the GPs. We don't know if it's going to be half the round. So then, do you offer your sponsors who've been with you for a long time 50% of the money because they're only getting half the stuff? So I've probably been on the phone more in the last 3 weeks than I ever have been in my life, trying to get things sorted. And it is what it is. People will go, they should have a pay cut. I don't think people realise the cost that's involved with Speedway. So an average for me, it costs about £350,000 a year to run. So, based on probably the last 6 years. So that kind of, that's the Sweden, Poland, and the Grand Prix. It's a lot of money. I employ 4 people year round. We've got 2 vans. The diesel bills are ridiculous. It's hectic. It's $5,000 for an engine. You might have, 8 or 9 of them during the year. It's crazy. So, you have to work out the pros and cons.
That's before you turn you got a big outlay before you turn a wheel and try get any return on your investment as well, don't you?
Yeah, unfortunately, with the off season, that's where you kind of like revamp everything, and you might purchase a new van or take on another mechanic, and then the wages start from January and all that sort of stuff. So at the end of the day, we're not riders riding for a team. We're businessmen running a business. That's what Speedway riders are, and that's how it should be looked at from their point of view. And as long as they look at it like that, and they try and reduce the costs and increase the income every year, then the little percentages here and there, and that's how you make a business grow. So, I'm lucky. I'm in a good situation. I've been very smart with all my stuff, and we built the house. We built the house in Australia last summer, so that's probably put a little bit of strain on me this year. But we're just trying to figure it all out and juggle it all and see what's going on. So it's good fun.
So Doyley's gone on and said he's going in 2 weeks through the Speedway Experience site run by Craig Boyce in Australia. He said he's going in 2 weeks for quarantine, or in 2 weeks for 2 weeks quarantine, and then riding. What's your situation? Are there dates down that you're going to Poland, mate? Or?
I believe in the contract it says we have to be there on the 8th. Every foreign rider has to be there on the 8th in the extra league contract. But I haven't decided what I'm doing yet, so I'm still in limbo. It's a tough situation. If this quarantine thing goes on, then how does it work when you're racing in a Grand Prix? Because if you go to the Grand Prix, then you come back to Poland, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks. So then you miss 2 Polish matches, and then there's penalties for that. And it's just like, there's so many variables, and we don't know how long it's going to happen for. And you just, it's just one day at a time, waiting for the news from governments and presidents of towns and all that sort of stuff.
The other element for you, you're a dad. There's Riley, Callie, and also Mother Faye. What he's talking about, if you do go to Poland, that's some serious time away from your family, Tai.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be 5 months if it all goes ahead. So, it's going to be tough, but I guess we're lucky that we live in a generation where you can just, grab your phone and go on FaceTime. You know, I couldn't imagine what it was like for my dad when he was racing. You know, like he'd go to Russia and write a letter to my nan. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. I can't even imagine what it would be like. But you know, we're lucky that we live in a time where there's loads of technology and you can pretty much, you know, be with each other. I said to Faye, I was like, oh, if I go, like, we'll work out what we're having for dinner and we'll cook the same meal, but we'll be on FaceTime and then we'll eat it together. Like just weird stuff like that. Like,
romantic. Tai Woffinden, the romantic.
Well, I cook. You know, if Faye cooks lunch, I'll cook dinner. If she cooks dinner, I'll cook lunch. It's just how we work, so it's good.
Good man. Good man.
But I'll miss the girls. It's going to be tough if that's what we do. But I believe from talking to other riders, that's kind of the route that everyone's going down.
Right. And sorry, Jerry. Just before Jerry comes in, Nicky Pedersen just about coming out saying he's not going to do it on the financial terms. Obviously, you're not made up, mate, but Nicky Pedersen pretty adamant he's going to give it a miss.
Yeah, and you know he's got his own reasons. I don't know what they are, but again, you know, he's in a different generation. He's done years and years of racing in Poland and probably built a very good business structure around him. You know, I'm only 30, so I'm 30 this year. Wow, 30. So yeah, I've got a few more years to go before I'm at that level financially.
Fantastic.
Okay, cool. So we've got a special guest. We've got Monster Joe, and I'll bring him in now. And hello, Joe. How are you?
What's up?
Hey, Joe.
What's up? How are you guys
So,
doing?
Big dog.
Yeah, we're all good.
With a badass Darcy Ward bike in the background.
Yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff in that office. I've had a look around. It's got some pretty pimp stuff. There's a Chem Block wheel in the background. I can see. There's loads of pretty cool toys.
I think there's a Dakar trophy in there.
There's a Dakar trophy. Is it there? Yeah.
Is that a photo of me on the Monster ring?
There's stuff in there. There's stuff. There's stuff in that room that a non-athlete shouldn't have.
Yeah. Well, it's Monster Joe, isn't it? And everyone knows Monster Joe is a character, and he's responsible for looking after you Rugrats flying the Monster brand. Joe, Ty speaking about Poland. What can you tell us about the situation?
He's just showing my head.
Yeah, you live out in Poland, so what's your thoughts on hearing?
I've been very blessed to be at home and not having to really go out and about in terms of in town and stuff like that. My beautiful wife's been the one going to the store and mapping out what the food we need and all that stuff. And you know, we try to keep fit and keep healthy, and I hop on my mountain bike and ride to the forest for about just an hour ride every other day or something. Keep myself busy, try to, take care of the kid, keep him entertained as much as we can. The weather's getting nicer, so that's definitely helpful. We can get outside and go and hang out in the garden and not be cooped up inside. And I think that goes for everybody, try to keep fit and just try to keep, focused, and we'll get through this. We'll get through this stronger on the back end than we are going into it. We'll all be better equipped in life to deal with these situations once we come through this. It's not going to be easy for some people. You talk about Ty or the riders, leaving their family and loved ones to come move to one country away from everybody. And yeah, unfortunately, that sounds like that's probably realistic. That's what's going to happen.
But they have got the Speedway chat show to communicate with the fans back in the UK, so that's a good thing.
Exactly. That's the beauty of the technology we have today. Is we can creating the Speedway chat show is a great grassroots that's really getting a lot of traction. It's not about big broadcast money. Obviously it would be nice if that was there, but this is the way a movement starts, and this is the way good conversations happen. It's no different than the boys hanging out in the back shed, drinking a few cold ones, shooting the shit. That's how I see Speedway chat shows. Talk about, real.
What you're up to.
And on that note, I'm real happy that there's going to be some racing. It's going to give the boys a little bit of, earn a little bit of money, maybe not the money that they were accustomed to. And there's going to be, a lot of changes. It's not like you're just going to show up. There's, from some of the things I've heard about it, it's possible maybe just one mechanic per rider in the pits. It's 50 people. 50 people is what in Poland categorizes as stage 3 mass gatherings, 50 people or less. So when you look at
that's
teams,
TV, the people that work at the club, and the riders and mechanics.
Right, and then you look at TV production. Well, that's got to be a trailer off-site, so that doesn't include in that 50. And then you look at revenue streams. How does the club generate revenue to pay for the riders? Well, as I understand it, the way that financing has been managed to come to life is through the broadcast money that the league gets. So the league itself is theoretically, from what I understand it, is actually stepping up and taking care of the rider fees, but they can only do so much. And that's, I think, where that 50%, number keeps getting thrown around. But like Tai said, it's not just, 50% of my wages. No, it's think about all those other sponsors. Are they getting more or less value? Is their business hurt by COVID-19 or not? There's so many variables that are going to take place that it's more than 50% cut. Now, there's also some less overhead as well. If you're just racing in Poland, you're not going to Sweden, you're not going to UK, you're not going to Denmark. So there's less wear and tear in equipment there. There's less travel and things of such. When it comes to the GPs, there's been some discussions about maybe doing all of the GPs in one country. Now that would be Poland, because all the riders are already in Poland. There's less travel. It's a better chance to actually get the event because everybody's already together theoretically. You're quarantining yourself throughout the season because you're all together all the time. So it's, and if something like that is feasible, maybe it's a Friday night GP, Saturday night GP, 2 GPs, 1 location. And maybe we do 3 weekends of that and get 6 GPs instead of 10.
I listened to Greg.
And none of that from a GP side is probably going to start earliest August, which is right around, the Warsaw announcement or Wrocław,
I heard Amanda Castagna say in Greg's podcast about the maybe only running 6 Grand Prix, but they could even run as far in as December. But having all the stadiums as the covered stadiums, so the weather's not going to affect it. That's pretty.
You look at the Speedway Nations; it's moved all the way back to October, end of October.
Yeah,
after the GPs are scheduled to be over.
So. Great. Just on the GPs, if they do get going, Tai, where I spoke to Chris about it, he's obviously not in the GPs, but he had a different take on what he thinks the qualifying should be. You missed a couple because of Polish commitments. You missed some qualifying. What's your take on it in its debut season? And if you could make a change, would you? And what would it be?
I think it's great. I've been pushing for that for a long time, but as I pushed for it over the years and then they finally did it, then Poland also started running on a Friday. So it's like sometimes you just think, why don't I just keep my mouth shut and just let it be as it is? But I'm always pushing and giving my ideas and trying to evolve the sport in every way that we can. And, if one person can't qualify, then no one can qualify because it's extra time on the track, extra time to get setups. You're talking about world championship level. But then you get into the politics of FIM and extra league, and that's not something I'm going to discuss because I really don't want to get involved in that sort of thing. So I just leave them to do what they do, and if I can qualify, I can, and if I can't, then I can't. It is what it is. But I think it's very unfair for a world championship.
Yeah, sure. Chris was saying that he would have it as you go out on the normal practice. You used to have your 3-minute slots, and the track was perfect, and you go out there and just do some laps. He thinks it should be your fastest time of your practice, not going out one at a time, because as we know, in Speedway,
the track changes too much, and they do a grade.
Yeah,
and they do a grade right in the middle. But when you do your practice runs, you get like a wet track, a dry, or you might get like 2 dry tracks and maybe 1 wet, or you get 3 dry. But at least you've had 2 dry or 3 dry, so you've had like 3 good opportunities to get your best time. And really, that would be the easiest thing. But then again, they want to televise the qualifying, and they're getting views, and so it's all deeper than what I think and what Chris thinks and what anyone else thinks. It's
not as many views as us, Tai, but it's another discussion.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Look, we got some stuff to play. Jerry, you got some stuff ready.
Yeah.
Obviously, our chat show is not all serious, but thanks, Joe, as well, for a massive insight to complications around getting pole and running. But
hey, Jerry, can you get any closer to the screen?
Yeah, I can.
It's his eyes. He used to be a magician.
Please don't. I know you're going to do any magic tricks.
Oh, don't start. I've been can't even throw a dart. Here we go. Do you remember this, Tai?
My frame broke. Oh yeah, my frame broke.
Co zrobi Woffinden? Maszyny, ależ teraz
Yeah.
wypadek, straszny motocykl na trybunach. Uciekają
What
tam
happened?
kibice,
How
ależ
did that?
tragedia. Ależ dramat w Toruniu, mogło tam
He's winded.
dojść
He's
do
winded. The big
bardzo
man's there.
poważnych historii. Proszę Państwa, co tam się stało?
Just gonna have a lay down.
Stay down
Złamana
and wait for the
rama.
red, eh?
Pierwszy raz chyba w historii widzę
Motocykl
taką
w 2
sytuację.
częściach.
Yes, the ensign comes up to me and he goes, "Dude, I thought you was dead."
So, what happened with that? Was that
We
something you were
designed-
running that was different? Yeah.
Yeah, we developed some frames. I used them for about. I started developing them the year before, and that was the kind of next stage. And they was brazed as far as the welding's concerned, and it wasn't strong enough, and it must have had a hairline fracture in it previously in the front down tube. So you got 4 points of contact. You got your top tube, which comes down and splits and goes to your engine plates, and you got your 2 bottom ones that come down to your top engine bolt. And the lug on that top engine bolt on the left-hand side had cracked in a previous meeting. And because it was a hairline crack, and the only way you could see it is to, I think, dye it or something. They say you can dye it so the boys obviously aren't going to see that when they're washing it because it's not visible to the eye. It cracked from the inside first. So as I came into the corner, the front wheel just came up, and I was leaning over to get it to the inside. As the pressure of it dropping down on an angle popped that bottom tube off, and then the engine hit the floor, and then it separated the frame more, and then I whiskey throttled because I wasn't ready for that, and it took off again. And then as I got off the gas, it dropped and hit the engine again, and then it bounced on, and then it split more. And then as I went over the handlebars, it kind of folded, and when the bike hit the fence, the top of the bike kept going. And it was so lucky it wasn't a Grand Prix because the stadium wasn't full, because that 100% would have killed somebody then. Like, yeah, hectic. It smashed the seats to pieces. Like, yeah, crazy.
Nice.
Crazy. But it was all good. You kind of like hit the floor, do a roll.
That's kind of all good.
And then you kind of like, because your adrenaline's going, you do a quick body check. You're like, toes, ankles, legs, yeah, back, arms. Yeah, fuck, all right, I'm good. And then I just kind of like laid there. I was like, oh, sweet, I'm just going to lay here for a minute. That hurt. And yes. What's that, Joe?
The front of the bike flew, 30, 40 feet.
Yeah, man. It went over the air fence, over the barrier, and took out like the seats in like the 5th or 6th row up.
Scary, mate. Yeah.
Hectic. Have you got some more crashes? I love watching crashes.
We've got some controversy. between a fellow rider
No,
and maybe you're the biggest
we're gonna
mechanic we've ever seen.
we're gonna have a
Wakanda.
theme with this one rider, aren't we? Until he comes on the show.
What's that?
We're gonna have a theme.
Oh, why is everyone talking about him all the time?
Well, it's a rider that Well, anyway, he speaks for himself. Roll the tape, Jess.
Okay, 2 seconds.
Ty's just doing some cooking.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just getting a roller to roll my legs out.
So here's the incident, in a way.
Because the ladies are late, Woffinden's gaining ground now. Down the back straight, Tai Woffinden. Connington's going over the door.
It's right here. Look, curb to fence. It pushes out. Does it every time.
Wow, what a semi-final that was. Whoa, goodness me. That was proper Speedway there.
This is the bit I love, Ty. Hey,
Woffinden not
hey,
happy
Nicky,
with that.
what do you reckon you're doing, mate? Have some dirt. Nicky's going, hey, Phil, hey, Phil. And here he comes.
Really tough. Pedersen holds on to second place, and it's still going on. Yeah, it's still going on. Woffinden still having words here with Nicky. Great rivals.
So,
Both world champions. Yeah, emotions running high now. Certainly not happy with the move coming out.
Ty, with that, we see hard racing time and time again, and I know a lot of the boys have got respect, but Chris was saying now it's getting to a point in the GPs where
Everyone's dogs, man.
you're not coming past.
Nah, I'm not going to name anyone. You probably everyone knows who does it, but there's. The thing that probably frustrates me the most is I don't have to do that to beat people. I don't have to be dirty to beat them. I'll pass them. I've shown that numerous amounts of times. Like when we was at Krushko 2015, past Nicky, cut back up the inside, nowhere near him. I went from last to first, past Everson clean, gave him probably half a meter between my dirt deflector and his front wheel. If you're good enough to do it, you don't need to be dirty. And it's the guys that are dirty that haven't quite got it there they're not quite fast enough, or they're just struggling a little bit. And I think that's why it pisses me off the most, because I don't do it to people.
Yeah. I think that's Greg Hancock. He had an incident with Nicky in Sweden. The biggest cunt. What wasn't it funny? Because Greg's a gentleman. It's probably why he's one of the most popular men in World Speedway. And we all feel for him going out the way he's had to go out. But to push Greg over the limit, it needs to have been done a few times before, and I think the key.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And your mechanic, was it a qualification to be the biggest bloke in the world?
Nah, Kondo's just a weapon, man.
we got a photo. Have we got a photo, Jez?
They're my boys. Like they've got my back. Is that where he stood next to me, flexing his gun? Oh, he's a weapon, eh?
Oh, mate, and you've stuck with the same team for some time now, Ty. Is that good? Is that good for the team?
Yeah. So my boys are all from Rzeszów in Poland. They take really a lot of pride in their work. They love what they do, and it's taken me a lot of time to.
There he is. The photos wasn't working.
No, it was on there. It worked.
Yeah, it was on there, yes.
Oh.
It's just it's been hard to find that perfect team, and it takes time. Because if you want to try someone, you got to try them for probably a year to see where they're at. So it takes years to get it right.
And your head manager, is it Jack?
Jacko?
Yeah. He's passionate. When you're riding, he looks nervous. He's into it, isn't he?
He's all in. He I think his love for the sport is probably more than mine, and his want to win is probably more than mine. Which is very rare to find that, somebody that wants to work for you and they want to win as bad, if not more than you. So, he's super passionate about it. He lives and breathes it. and you know, I've been with him since 2010. So he came in halfway through that year to help me out and get all my stuff straight, because that was a tough year for me, and yeah, we've been working together ever since.
Cool. Is there anybody in the Grand Prix series that like you keep an eye on, that you're like, you know, worry about, or you know, you always know if
what do you mean keep an eye on?
Like is there anybody who's like your biggest rival in the Grand Prix that you see, or
not really,
are they all
man.
the same?
They're all the same. They're all dudes that are racing bikes, and you know, the bikes are the same. We're running the same tires, the same clutches. The majority of us have got the same engine tuner.
You run different helmet covers though, don't you? You Tai?
Every now and then.
I think your helmet cover.
That was a funny day.
What happened there?
Oh, we were doing an extra league photo shoot, and we had to like walk. We was at a golf course, and we had to walk over the crest and kind of like come up over the crest. So as we walked over the crest, I quickly just took all my gear off and just walked over, and there was just like, what the fuck is this guy doing? It's like a full, like in Warsaw, like a serious golf course.
We had that plan before. So earlier, Jerry and I were sat down and running through what the show's going to be about tonight, and Tai decided to check in from his shower at about.
Please tell me you didn't screenshot that.
I got it, Tai. It's funny because you did it, and we seen you, and then you said, "Are we live?"
You gotta ask after, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, Jerry got his phone out first. Joe, on that.
Jerry,
go on. On that, Joe, you've had some, and you still have got some amazing riders. What's it like having these boys with their passion? You obviously got riders that suit the Monster brand, don't you? In terms of that little rugged edge, Darcy,
yeah, I'm right,
Chris, yeah. Your role is to make sure it's still Monster's being presented in the right way as well. That fits the global brand, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's an honor to work with the riders I get to work with. You know, I mean, over the last 20 years of working with riders, I mean, it keeps me young. It keeps my head in the game. And there's you know, for me, the passion isn't only Speedway. Obviously, the passion is no different than that athlete or that competitor that wants to win. That's what I want with our brand. I want to win that consumer at every level, at every avenue, at every intersection. And so, you know, working with the Speedway riders and having a great relationship with the riders, having access to the riders, I can work very closely with them in giving the fans maybe something that they want, whether it's, you know, an autograph signing session that's turned into a rig riot now. That's a little bit more fun than just an autograph session. We've brought out the Monster Girls. We've brought out, you know, we're basically bringing the party to the race, and that's what we are, you know. And we're not just there just for our riders. We're there obviously for the fans. We're there to support our riders, but we're also there to support every rider that's in the sport or that's in that particular category at the time. We're there to have a good time. So come on and hang out and let's have fun. And that's been our Monster attitude the whole way. You know, all of the employees that work in the company, you know, we all have that attitude, and we all have that, you know, we walk the walk and we talk the talk. We're individuals that grew up within a particular sport or a scene or a culture that happens to have a similar, or if not the same DNA as our brand. So yeah, I mean, these you know, guys like Tai and Darcy and Greg and Pavel and you know, all the riders, Golub over the years. I mean, they become your friends, you know. Yeah, of course there's business and we have contracts and we, you know, process invoices and we have branding guidelines on how to paint helmets and this and that. And we have to, you know, play the business side. But at the end of the day, you know, we're there to have a good time. We're a fan of the sport. And I hope that the fans appreciate the little bit of money that we put in the sport to make it a better time for them.
Sure.
Cool. I'm going to go a little bit.
Man.
Rig rights are the best. I'm going to go a little bit off track, and we sort of scheduled this a little bit different, but we have got somebody else sat waiting right this second. And this person will be doing our live chat on Tuesday night.
Our third guest.
And
Jerry, just quickly, can I say a shout out to Matty Bates? Matty Bates was astounded that we had Chris Holder and then Tai Woffinden, to the point that he put an emoji with these big eyes. I want to see what emoji Matty Bates comes out with now when everyone is about to fight. I've been keeping this secret for about a day. I don't know how I've done it. When everyone finds out the guest we have on Tuesday because they said it couldn't be done. Go on, Jez.
here he is.
Greg Hancock.
Hello, Greg.
Is he there?
Where's he gone? Oh, you can't
There
hear
he
me
is.
talk.
I'm
Can you see him?
I'm
Yeah.
here, but what's up?
Hey, Greg.
What's up, brah?
What's going on, guys?
Well,
I didn't hear you, man. Say that again.
We're giving an up and coming rider, a young kid called Tai Woffinden, his big break on Facebook. So we listen, Greg. Great news! You're going to join us on Tuesday with a couple of other special guests as well. Thanks for that. We'll talk to you about it. Anything you can tell us about Tai, or a story that's for the British public?
You mean
Hey, Greg,
Woofy?
I'm nearly 30, bro. I'm getting more experienced.
Dude, you got a long way to go, man. 30's like the new 20, man. Just keep rocking it.
So I used to call Greg old when we raced together at Chesterhover, and then I was like, oh, no, I can't call you old. I'm going to call you more experienced.
Well, yeah, that's right. I hope that you still honor that no matter what.
Of course. Anything to
So,
you,
hey,
Greg.
you know what? Yeah, dude, love you.
Back at you, man.
Hey, you know what? I think there's so many stories about Tai, and I wouldn't know where to start. And there's not one that you can really say is better than the other, because they're all good, right? And it's I think the only thing that stands out in my head most about Tai is every time I look at him, you know, he's got ink from here to here, and I still have this memory of his dad saying that, you know, God bless him, that when Tai turned 18, that was when his dad was going to let him have his first tattoo. I think it was 18, Tai, is that right?
No, it was 16. I had
16.
to, maybe,
All right.
no, 16. I think I had to beat somebody to get it.
Well, you probably modified that, because maybe he told you like 16 before you can get an ink, and then you had to compromise because that's Tai, right? You'll never do what your parents say. You're going to always take it that little extra.
Every time. Mum said, don't get your hands tattooed. So I was in England for the winter, and I went straight to the tattoo shop and got them tattooed and sent her a picture.
So, you know, that's Tai Woffinden in a nutshell. Whatever rules you throw on the table, he's still going to try to compromise.
Yeah. Greg, you've been the store mate at Monster Energy working with Joe, and you've been, you know, a true gentleman in the sport, hanging out with these young kids, Darcy, Chris, Tai, kept you young, no doubt.
It did, man. I hung out with you even long before these guys, so this is even more fun. Just to like, and now we're back again, right? But
yeah,
these guys kept me young, and I without a doubt, you know, I mean, it's I was definitely one of the older dudes in the bunch, and you can't beat them by trying to do everything on your own. You got to be with them, you know. I guess a lot of people say keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Well, these guys have never been my enemies, but I've tried to keep them as close as possible, because there's the only way to mix with them and stay in the sport, stay active, stay focused, is you gotta understand everything that's going on. And if they were learning anything from me, I was learning twice as much from them, just trying to hang with them and figure it out and listen to the talk and what they were doing. But that's Speedway. We spent a lot of time together, so it's hard not to pick something up.
And we're all sat there trying to figure out how the fuck you get out the start so good.
I had a couple of good moments.
And next Tuesday we'll touch on a lot of those. What are you making of COVID-19, Greg? The state's been tremendously hit hard, mate. Just quickly, it's pretty surreal, yeah.
Like you said, just quickly, right? This is like taking over all of our lives completely, So we're like, even doing my podcast now, I'm like, I start them off like, can we talk about COVID-19 for a few minutes? But you know what, dude, it's a bummer. It sucks pretty much, and but we have to deal with it. Probably the biggest adjustment is everybody's living under one roof 24/7 now, and we all have to learn to get along with each other day in and day out. So domestic violence is up heavily around the world, but not in our house.
I've said to a lot of people that this COVID-19 hasn't affected me one bit. I still go to work. The missus never let me go to the pub anyway, and I think my missus invented the 2-meter rule. So, life is normal for me.
Oh, dude.
Hey,
Hey.
I reckon it was a woman that let the virus out. So that we're at home every day. We can't go out. You know what I mean? It's very,
Dude,
very
you're digging
strange.
yourself a hole, Ty.
Give me the shovel.
Yeah, you're in trouble. You're in trouble.
Well, like they said, this coronavirus should have started in Vegas, right? Because everything stays in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
Hey, Greg, how big is Wilbur now?
Dude,
Is he like a 2-foot growth spurt?
That's his
He's
bike right
like
behind
5. What's that?
I said, that's Wilbur's bike right behind you.
That is Wilbur's bike. It's proud. He's pretty proud of it if you haven't seen it on social media yet. So I'm glad he's doing Zoom right now. Otherwise, he would be stealing my show.
Well,
Wilbur's tall, bro. He's getting up there, but he's got Speedway on the brain like crazy. So yeah, Speedway's not leaving our house anytime soon. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm so happy I got 2 girls.
You never know, dude.
Takes a man to make a man, Ty.
Ooh.
No, I'm happy in my life, mate. Most men have hair on their forehead as well.
Ooh.
Gosh, I see where this conversation is going.
Hey, Charles, you're going to tell the story about when you was working for Watto and I smoked him around the pole line?
Do you know what? I was thinking about that today, right? Rye House, back in the day, Ty's just a young kid, and we knew he was good. We knew this kid had some talent, and Craig was Watto was one of the Premier League top sort of guns, if you like. So we weren't used to going anywhere and getting beat. But Tai Woffinden, you could see the speed in him, but it was a funny day. They used to have a concrete white line, didn't they, at Rye House? And Ty, the only way he could get past him, because I set the bike up for Craig that no one could get past. So Ty decided to go both wheels over the white line. So I went out onto the track in protest, pointing at the
giving it this one.
Yeah.
Fucking went over the line.
And fair play, it's been an ongoing discussion for me and Ty, because he did say, look, I'll give you the 35 quid a point he was on, because I made 90 a point back then anyway, didn't you, Ty? The good old days.
Good times.
We'll say an earlier, Greg, just before we let you go and welcome you back next Tuesday. We just showed a couple of videos of how tough the sport's getting now with people blocking and things like that. You, like everyone, seen it change and even introduce martial arts into Speedway as well.
Yeah, you call it what you want, man. But I heard you say there too, like it takes a lot to push me over the edge. And at that one point, yeah, someone did. It's just I always think like the only person that can make me mad is myself for letting myself get mad. Damn it, he got me there.
Didn't he? But look, we'll bring all that up next week. Jerry, anything else we're going to keep Greg around for? I don't think.
No. I think we'll let him
I can't
go.
hear
And
Jerry, you guys. I can't even hear him talking. So.
Yeah, he's got a shit studio.
No effort at all. But
No.
yeah, no, we'll let Greg go, and we'll speak to him next week. You're probably gonna have to tell him that we're gonna let him go because he can't hear me.
Good to see you, bro.
Yeah, we're going to let you go, Greg, and get you back next Tuesday with a couple of special guests, perhaps, that we're trying to line up in the background as well. And we'll try in an hour or so run through what has been an inspirational and such an amazing career in World Speedway. The only man I know to turn up to Cardiff and get a bigger roar than a rider, mate. So that was special. Thanks, everything, Greg. The cat's out of the bag. You are our third guest next Tuesday. Thanks very much for coming in. Enjoy sunny California, and we'll speak soon.
Hey, I look forward to it, you guys. I love what you're doing here. And Woofy, go get another title, dude.
We're on, bro.
Good luck, guys.
Cheers.
See you later.
Thanks, Greg. Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Peace. See ya.
Wow.
What a legend.
Cat's out of the bag. The third guest.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Look, it's special thanks to you as well, Joe, so far as well for making a lot of this happen. Tai, moving on now in terms of what does the rest of the season sort of hold? Is it a little bit of a write-off now in terms of your initial plans?
Well, no. Hopefully, there's still some world title rounds. So there's a world title up for grabs still. That's not been cancelled entirely. What Joe touched on before, they're talking if the lockdowns are still going and the borders are still an issue, then there'll be rounds in Poland, which suits me fine. And the majority of my partners are Polish. Bar ATPI Travel, a couple of product companies, and Monster Energy. So. That would also work good for me in my favor. So it's just a strange year for everyone. We just got to deal with it and get on the best you can.
Yeah, it doesn't stop at Speedway, does it? MotoGP, F1, World Superbikes, all affected, and you've got some pretty close mates in the Lowe's brothers. Tell us a bit about that relationship and how it come about.
Sam and Alex, I met them when I started training with Kirk. Kirk trains at Derby College, a phenomenal athlete in himself. It's inspirational. Just going to sort your dog out.
Yeah, my dog, yeah.
It's inspirational watching him train. When I go in for a gym session, he's normally training in the morning before he trains us, and he's just a weapon. The limits that he pushes himself to on his own without having somebody there pushing him. It's crazy. And then, obviously he trained Tommy Searle. Well, he trains Alex Lowe's, Sam Lowe's, Tommy Searle, Leon Haslam, Dave Ryan, professional boxer now retired. So we had a real good group of guys there all training together, pushing each other on, helping each other out. And, Sam's having another crack at a World 2, Moto 2 World Championship. Alex has just moved to Team Kawasaki in World Superbikes. So, speak to him quite regularly. Sam has just moved back from Italy. He moved to Italy with his fiance or with his missus. So he's just moved back, and he's like over the A50, just up the road, up the hill. And Alex is probably another 5 minutes further away than that. So we're all pretty local and, similar age and racing motorbikes.
Yeah, perfect.
Cool.
Have you guys talked much in regards to maybe their series and what challenges they're going to have, much like what they're doing for Speedway?
Well, they're just kind of like being postponed, and their season can run on again like later than it normally does. So, I think everyone's in the same situation where we're just kind of waiting for the world to get a hold of this and move forward.
What about the bigger world championships? I mean, we have Speedway that, maybe we can have 6 rounds or so in one country. I don't see that happening in Formula One, obviously, MotoGP, motocross. Movement of people, I think, is going to be the biggest issue coming to these world championship events.
Yeah, especially doing what they do. Like, you know, I've got 3 mechanics. They've got trucks and teams and physios and nutritionists. Like, it's crazy. So they're on a whole nother scale to where we're at. So
they'll have 50 people just in one team, won't they?
Yeah.
Oh, hundreds.
Yeah, and how many?
Yeah.
And how many teams is there? Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy. So we've got some questions from some people. Shane's already mentioned Matty Bates, but do you remember making a heater out of an oil tray in the changing rooms of the World Under 21 quarters at Rye House in 2009? It sounds like an interesting story.
I've made lots of heaters in changing rooms over the years, especially when I was racing in England and coming back from Australia and doing the first years. I was like, I'm so nesh. Like, I love having a beanie, a jumper, and like when I go to Poland at the start of the year, I have my jeans on, which are like skin tight, and then I have thermals on, and then I have my trackies on. I wear 2 pairs of socks. Like, I hate being cold. So just a bit of methanol in a little oil catch can, light it up, instant heat. Just don't kick it.
Don't kick it.
And I did that a heap of times.
That's funny. Have you seen any, Shane, that you want to ask?
No, Joe.
There is a lot of questions, so just going through.
Jerry's dyslexic, so we've got a bit of a problem here.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to wait. I tell you what we have got also is we've got the video of you doing a backflip with Josh Sheehan.
Josh Sheehan, yeah. What a guy. He's nuts.
Here we go.
It's strange, but I don't need space from you. In every single thing you do, I've been chased. Maybe I just knew I had to wait for you. So I never got a little space for you. It's not
That one there was the first flip, and the first flip was my second flip.
Not only that, Tai, you had to go at sprint cars as well back in Oz as well. You've had a crack.
Yeah, raced a sprint car last, not this summer, just gone, summer before. I finished second in the A main. Like, literally, I don't want to be the guy to say it, but I needed one more lap. Like, I had him. The car was locked down. She was hooking up. And we were
over
so
the white
close,
line
and,
again.
No, none of that. On the fence, mate. On the fence, on the cushion, just hauling ass, full gas. It's man, so insane. But the flip, that was just something I wanted to do. I went to Corby Skate Park and flipped my BMX, and I was like, fuck, man, that's easy. I want to do it on a motocross bike. And then obviously Josh is a monster athlete as well. So and I met a guy at I was racing with a young guy called Caleb Grothhughes. We went out riding at Coastals in WA, and Chris Clark was there, and he's good friends with Josh. Went out to watch him do the triple backflip at Pastrana Land, and I said, I want to do a backflip, like, see if we can sort it out. And then we made it happen. And that summer I just happened to have a guy helping me do a few video clips just for a bit of fun.
Oh, fantastic.
Cool.
But I want to do it. Ask Joe what I've been trying to organise.
What's he been trying to organise, Joe?
He's always trying to push the envelope. So I'm sure if he has his way, he'll attempt what he wants to attempt, and we'll do our best to support him.
A double backflip.
Double
flip. Yeah, man.
All right. Well, good luck with that, Tai. Before you go and try do that, obviously, we got
Win
two
another world
hosts here.
title.
We got get another world title. We got Jerry and me, and two distinctly different studios. Jerry's got an empty monster fridge. I think I need something
looks cool,
in the back. Yeah, it looks great, doesn't it? I need something in the background that relates to Speedway. There we go.
So what?
There we go.
Charlesy, what you need to do is download SnapCam.
Joe, I'm trying to get product here. I don't need digitals. I need physicals.
And then you can put your own screen and you can pretend you're sitting at the beach and SnapCam.
It looks like Charlesy, Jerry, is going to have a signed autograph book. You can go back to your bloody darts, mate. I'm telling you. Who needs dartboards on a Speedway show when I've got Ty's book? What's it say, Ty? Probably
You
to the
fucking legend.
Yeah.
No, that's
Mic drop.
yeah.
There we go.
Got to see what I get out of Greg next week now.
Yeah.
Hey, outside of racing and outside, obviously, the love for your family and friends, what does Tai Woffinden get excited about?
At the moment, jumping out of airplanes.
I was going to
Really?
ask about skydiving.
Well, this is the funny thing, right? I'm like I'm bipolar. I have one side to me that's like so extreme. Like I want to do a double backflip. I want to base jump. Going through my skydiving course, and then on the other side, I like to go out in the garden. Like yesterday, I went out and I clipped everything down so that it grows a bit wider and filled up all my bird feeders and sat outside and had a coffee and just enjoyed being in the garden and watching the birds flying and eat off the feeders. So you've got two completely different sides to me.
And jumping
Wow.
out
You gotta
of
have balance.
planes.
You gotta have balance, right?
Here he is. Here's the man, the legend. Adam, how are you?
Give me a kiss. Hey.
Here's,
All right. Hey, give me a
Yeah.
kiss.
this is Adam, Joe's
Looking at
little
the
boy.
The caged animal.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Hi, Adam.
See, Adam.
He's going sleepy.
Oh,
Are you home alone, Ty? Faye and the kids there, mate? Or
Nah, they've
they're not down in the shops, are they?
we split the house in two, and the in-laws live next door, so she's just gone next door with the girls and getting them showered and stuff, so that I can talk to you guys with a nice bit of peace and quiet.
yeah,
Cool.
perfect, and we do appreciate it. Jerry, what do you got?
I don't think we've got anything else.
What happened to the questions? Yeah, you read one question out, and you was like,
Yeah, there's
oh, we've got
one
heaps.
question. But there's lots of comments.
Ty, did you ever get round to passing your motorcycle techs? Alex Lewis.
No.
No, there you go.
No.
Good answer.
No.
I haven't done it yet. Do you know
Sold the
what? I've
Harley,
tried
didn't
so
you?
many different options. My next option is to go to Ukraine for 2 weeks and pay for it, but you have to be there for 2 weeks, and once you have it, then you can transfer it over to an English one. But I've tried in Poland. I've tried to buy a motorbike license for the last 3 years.
Ty, I've got a loophole on the motorcycle test. Right.
Can you do it for me?
I did it myself, right? So in the UK, on your license, you'll see that you're permitted to ride, and take that to the Australian licensing, and they take it as if you can ride a bike, and they give you a bike license.
Are you serious?
That's how I got mine. And you see me ride.
When we went to Melbourne for the GP, like I looked on my license and it said the bike bit on the English thing, but when you Google the code, it says that it's restricted to 50cc.
But Australians don't Google it, Ty.
No, I know. But so we went there, and I can't remember the Harley shop, but I walked into the Harley shop, met the dude. He's like, yeah, if you want to use some Harleys here, like, in fact, it was Cam Sinclair's brother that knew the guy anyway. So he hooked me up, my father-in-law and my mate Jay. And we went in, and I was like, dude, I haven't even got a motorbike license. And we went in, I showed him the English license. He's like, yeah, sweet, take a copy of that. There's the keys. And we just cruised around Melbourne on Harleys for a week. It was sick. I was like, I don't even give a shit if I get pulled up.
You don't give a shit anyway.
No.
You got some questions there, Jez? I can see
there's a lot of people just saying like about Greg for Tuesday, and
I got one for Ty
here. Yeah.
Tamara Bolsom says, when racing at Cardiff, how does it feel walking past and she yells your name? No, when everyone says your name.
Only the people that are there can feel that. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure it's this. You get the same buzz from being in the crowd as I do from walking out, but like I feel like a king. it's pretty like sensational.
How do you take that into racing? Can you take that excitement and just?
Yeah, I don't even think about it. I'm the same throughout the board, so I never really noticed it myself. And Faye goes, "Oh, like you get pretty like in the zone when you're at the track," and I was like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah, that like I don't know, 45 minutes, half an hour before the start, like before you go get changed, like you just kind of like zone out from everyone and just start like focusing on what you're gonna do." And I was like, "Yeah, right. I didn't even like realize that. That's just natural. Like I don't have to think about doing it." But yeah, if I ride in England, Poland, Sweden, Grand Prix, wherever it is, you know, even going out to Australia and riding out there, it's the same process. Doesn't matter if there's 50,000 people or if there's 500 people. It's the same process. Just switch off, do my job, and go on.
Awesome.
So Josh has messaged in saying, "Ask Tai when was the last time you had a cheeseburger?"
The last time I had a cheeseburger.
Think about the question, Tai.
October. I haven't eaten meat. I haven't eaten any meat for 4 months.
Oh, I thought there was an inside joke there with Josh. But
there might be, but I don't know what it is.
Oh,
it is an inside joke.
Welcome back, Josh.
Right, here we go. We got to Tai. Do you have any idea how many years you want to continue riding Speedway, or is there a certain number of personal achievements you have in mind before you call it a day?
Yeah, I've said publicly that I want to win 7 world titles. I want to be the greatest of all time. Which is, you know, people go, "Oh, how can you say that?" or "You're cocky, you're arrogant." But you have to have a goal to drive you. And I want to be the best. Right now, I'm the best British rider ever, from what I've achieved. And the next thing for me is to be the best rider ever, because I'm British, I've done that. And the next thing is to be the best rider ever in the world. So that means 7 world titles. Now, it'll be hard, don't get me wrong, but you know, I've got the desire to do it. I want to do it. So and you know, if in 2 years' time I go, you know what, I've had enough of this sport and I'm not enjoying it and whatever, then in 2 years' time I'll pack it up and go back to Australia. But you know, I don't have a time limit of how long I'll ride for. It could be stopped through injury. It could be stopped because I lose the love for the sport. It could be stopped through you know, just yeah, there's so many variables.
Yeah.
Just have to wait and see.
Just on a side note, when we advertised you're coming on the show, Tai, the very first comment was from a gentleman called Mike Bennett, who I know, and he was saying his daughter Sophie Bennett was going to be exceptionally happy because you're a favourite rider. Any chance of a quick hello to Sophie Bennett for us, please, mate? Sophie,
how are you? I hope you're doing well in these crazy times, and stay safe.
Fantastic. A lot of GB questions, Jerry, as well, about the direction Team GB is going, Tai.
Don't know what direction it's going.
Are you happy with the direction it's going?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I've been very public in how things needed to change and what needed to happen for us to be successful. And, you know, the reason I say it is because I've done it myself with what I'm doing. So I can give that back. And I'm sure that not many riders would do that because, you know, when I go to them no limits camps and help the kids out, I tell them everything. We're talking about marginal gains and stuff that I didn't learn until like 5 years ago. And they're learning it when they're 16. They're training. I wasn't training when I was 16. I was pissing my money up the wall and having a good time at Rye House. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Crossing white lines.
And just having a ball. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, we're in a good position now, and it's just building them kids up. It's all about the kids, and we need to have a little bit more support than just me and Rob, and just keep pushing and pushing and pushing so that, you know, we have a nice handful of riders in the squad and we're fighting for our spot. We're not getting given it. We're actually. Yeah. I need to win this race, because if I don't win this race, then I might not get selected for the team. Do you know what I mean? So that little bit of drive there, but at the moment that's not quite there because you kind of like know who. If it's a 2-man team, you know who it's going to be.
I think Britain and Australia have also struggled about bringing juniors up, and Craig Boyce with his Speedway experience, along with Mick Holder, he's started to pay dividends now with the young guys coming out of Australia to go against the Danes at junior level as well. And it's all about finding a place that they can ride whenever they can as well, which is getting difficult in environmental times, mate. Yeah.
I think that's the hardest thing with the UK. Like I started racing a bike when I was like a Speedway bike when I was 12, racing, and then, when I was 13, I was being handicapped 15 meters because I was winning the race the day in the morning, and then in the afternoon they run handicaps.
Yeah.
So that taught me how to pass, because I was carving up the guys. The guys in front of me were slower, so I had to come up and learn how to pass and go around them, dive up the inside, cut backs. That's where I learned my trade, and then you take that on. So any junior Speedway stuff like they do in Denmark, Sweden, Poland, Australia, not England.
Yeah,
but
and it shows it shows at World Cup level now as well, mate, doesn't it?
Definitely. So when the pole beat us in Manchester, I don't know what year that was, like 2018, I think, maybe. Anyway, that year, that was Marek Cieślak's under-21 team the year before, or 2 years before. That just goes to show what's going on with them. Yeah. So
100%.
There's a lot of work to be done, but it's all positive.
Yeah, got to stay positive. And on the team GB, Jerry, can we say anything now or not now?
Yeah, so we have confirmed today. Actually, I don't know if I actually told you earlier, but we've got Simon Stead and Ollie Allen coming on the show next Friday. All talking all about Team GB. So we'll have a little bit of insight all about that as well.
And I countered that with getting Lemo and a couple of the Aussie boys on at some stage to try to do it.
We've got lots of. The schedule might change, but we have got lots of different interesting subjects to talk about with lots of different riders and stuff. So it is really good. We've got a couple of questions here, Ty. If you do go to Poland, will you be taking the girls with you?
At the moment, with the crisis that's going on, I don't really want them to leave here. So, they've got Sean and Tracy here, her mum and dad. So she's got help with the girls. Her brother also lives here with us. So, like for instance, if I do go to Poland, I'll be in a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. But you go out the back door here, and the girls play on this grass every day. There's 21 acres out the back. I take Riley in the Land Rover Defender every day. She drives out in the fields. We rip around on the 110. We've got a little boat. We've got a lake, so we go out on the boat and stuff. And it's just rather than being cooped up in an apartment in Poland, and if something happens and they have to go to hospital, Faye doesn't talk the language. So yeah, it's a tough one. Okay,
and if one of your girls turned around and said they wanted to ride Speedway, how would you feel about that? And would you allow them?
I'd just tell them don't waste their time.
What? Says someone saying Speedway in 15 years.
Yeah.
When I'm done with Speedway, there is no more Speedway. So I'm a little bit different. I know that some guys that I race against, they live it and breathe it, and that's all they think about. Like I come home, there's not one bit of Speedway memorabilia, or there's no trophies. We don't discuss Speedway in the house. I've got 2 lives. I go to work, I do my job, come home, hang out with the family.
A tough one here from young Jake Goff. His dad's Ray Goff. You probably remember Woofy. What do you think your best win is amongst them all?
Oh.
You get relaxed while you think about it.
You can't beat the first world title. But then there's been there's so many different points, achievements, winning the league with Atlanta. Then we did the teams world championship and won another world title there. So I have 3 individual world titles, 1 team world title. 2015, a pivotal point was when we got to Slovenia, and John Z built me this engine that was just absolutely ridiculously fast. Had so much straight line speed, and I couldn't get out the start though. It used to spin out the start. Didn't matter if it was grippy, slick. It just had way too much power out the start. But then every lap, as it wound up, it went faster and faster. And I remember being stood in the pits, and my pit bay was right next to the TV box. And I was just like leant over talking to Jack, and Greg was getting interviewed. And so I said, hang on, Jack, I'll see what Greg has to say. And he said something along the lines of, it's time to start thinking about the silver and bronze medal, because I don't think it's going to be possible to catch Tai. So for me, that was like, fucking hell, like, got you. That's one guy done. And then we stood at the semi-final pick, and Nicky, if he's got the pick before you, he always turns around and goes like, oh, what gate do you want? So I had first pick, and I went, oh, what gate do you want? And he went, doesn't matter, you're going to beat us anyway. And I was like, got you as well. So like them two big dogs in the championship, they're both just like gone.
White flag.
Like can't do it. So that, like, little things like that. There's so many different things like along my career. Winning the league title of Rye House back in the day when we was at Scunthorpe, and we won everything. We won the Knockout Shield, the KO Cup, the league championship, the 4-team tournament, like everything there was to win, we won. And there's just so many different bits. It's hard to say one.
Yeah.
Just say one.
Just say one. So
hanging out with you, Charlie.
Has asked,
You're only human.
if there is any Team GB events, will you make yourself available this year?
Of course.
Okay, thanks for that.
All my chips are in.
Yeah.
Good catch up.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for someone to go, do you think you're Australian or English? Just waiting for it.
I'm trying to find one.
Gotta learn how to read.
How many times have you do you train? Are you training per week?
6.
6 times a week. Okay.
Good chat.
Yeah, and varies between. I think last week I did 17 hours. So what's that? What's 17 divided by 6? Anyone good at maths?
What's that? 17.
Divided by 6 is 2.89683248 repeater.
Yeah, there we go. That's so averaging 2 to 3 hours a day.
We spoke about crashing. Susan Jordan, do you remember crashing at Birmingham? You flew through the air fence like Superman. The DV guys missed it. It really spectacular.
Yep.
Glad you weren't hurt.
So Tommy Allen crashed on the first corner.
Not Tommy.
They filmed him as I sent it over the fence and landed on the dog track. And Jason Lyons was in front of me, and I was on the inside of him. And he turned left on me a little bit to slow me down. So he clipped my front wheel, which pushed all my body weight to the right-hand side. And I rode the bike straight into the fence, stopped the bike, flipped me in the air. I did 2 somersaults, landed flat on my back, and I only broke my arm. And I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk for like, obviously I had been on the stretcher and stuff, but like my dad had to carry me out of the hospital into the van and put me in the bed. And it wasn't until I woke up back in Scunthorpe at the caravan site that I actually stayed in. He said, oh, do you want to come in? And I said, no, I'll just sleep here. And I slept in the van the night, and then woke up in the morning and like got out of bed, and then it was like, it was garbage.
We've got an absolute honey who just messaged in here.
Yeah, she's got the same first and last name as my missus, who should be working minimum wage at Tesco. So if she's on Snapchat, she says hi.
It's Facebook.
Hi.
Oh, Facebook, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, Facebook, yeah. She said to me, she goes, I'm going to have to watch that if Ty's on. And I was like, yeah, but you got work, and, you can't not go to work. So my kids are quite impressed about the social media thing and the numbers we're doing. But I think the only thing that will impress my missus is if we get Mark Wahlberg on the show, because that gets her out of the house, and I got a house to my own because she'll live with Mark Wahlberg. But I said he'll soon hand it back anyway.
I think you're dreaming.
Well, we're getting
But
Wahlberg money.
I tell you what I can do. I can, if you want to go off the board a little bit, I can have a chat with John McGuinness if you want to maybe have him on the show, or Alex Lowe's, or Sam Lowe's, or there's a few other guys.
Yeah, I think John McGuinness. How does he do that and then ride Speedway the way he does?
What about did you see the interview when he's like, oh, my foreskin peeled back on the second lap, and it was chafing.
We're past 8 o'clock now.
Yeah.
This is in the press conference after he's just won the Ironman TT, and he's talking about his old boy chafing on his leathers.
He's a gentleman as well, and look, Tai. I'd love to have anyone, and I think the Speedway fans would like to hear what superstars of world motorsport go through as well. So if the show evolves into off-topic stuff or having guests and from other sports, mate, if you can, please. We gave you your big break tonight, so if you can help us out.
Thank you. I really needed this. It's been a long time coming.
Can't wait to get the book, to be honest.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm going to send it to you.
You got to pay postage, buddy.
Oh, fuck.
So Todd, another question. So if the extra league is requiring you to be here by the 8th or so, you have to come here 2 weeks before and quarantine, or what's the process quarantine?
8th is the latest that we can be there, and then it's 2 weeks quarantine. And in Poland, they do it properly. When you land, well, I don't know. I haven't even figured out how I'm going to get there yet. I've got some quotes on private jets, but they're a little bit pricey.
I'll come with you for the experience.
But a 4-seater jet to Poland is £6,500.
I'll put in the half. There's like £1,000.
There's like there's me, Max Frick, Dan Bewley that race for the club. So that's divided by 3. But it's still too much money to have a trip. So then it's like, okay, can we drive? So I looked online today actually on the thing, and it says the French authorities can turn you back if you don't have a valid reason for entering their country. And then I ain't getting on a normal plane. Not in this, like, with this shit that's going on. I refuse to go on a plane and breathe everybody else's air.
Right, that's it. We're going to start a fundraiser to get you on your private jet. I'm sure the folks.
Yeah. It's taken an hour and 19 minutes, but we finally got one. Do you consider yourself English or Australian?
Fuck off, Sean.
Good chat.
Yeah. Cool. Right. Yeah. I think we're an hour and 20 minutes, so let's we'll wrap it up. And
Jerry, just quickly, Claudia.
I can talk all night.
Okay, carry on.
I'm chilling.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying it.
Claudia, I don't know if you missed all of the show, but our next interview is Tuesday with a little American up-and-coming superstar, Greg Hancock. So that'll be next Tuesday. With a time difference, we'll have to post when that's going to be. But Greg Hancock is on
7 p.m.
See,
7 p.m.
Because we're hosting this, Jerry tells me. Cheers, Jazz.
Yeah,
you've got the gift of the gab.
Yeah,
he's obviously a lot smarter than you.
Just talks.
Jerry,
all got come today.
You can't have a studio and do the
Charlie,
questions.
Shut up and let Joe speak.
Joe, who?
I was saying we just got that confirmed today, so you're all in the loop.
Yeah, I know, Joe. I'm just trying to wind up Jerry with his dartboard and his monster fridge and his clock and his GM engine from Ashtec and his Harley Davidson and where does it end? Check this out. Look, here we go.
Troy Lee Designs.
Troy Lee.
Years ago. That's a
Southern Sam. Look at that.
Yeah, imagine the stitching on that. That must have cost a fortune.
Hey, do you reckon? If no one likes me talking, we'll get Alan Roscoe Rossiter and Sam Embelenko on the same show.
How's this?
Oh, here we go. Oh, we shouldn't have started, should we? Look at this.
Is Tai younger than Greg? Is that the one you're going to?
So this is from the Las Vegas Mint 400. This is a bottle of tequila inside, yeah? And this is what they give out for the racers. Little collector's piece.
Can you get the Dakar trophy out? I want to see the Dakar trophy.
Yeah, we want to see the Dakar trophy.
Like, some people dream of winning shit like that, and Joe's just got them fucking stacked up on his window shelf.
It's in the living room, I think. He's got a Ken Block helmet in the background.
Yeah, look at this.
Yeah.
Oh, is that
is that the new
Toby?
one?
It's Toby, isn't it? Toby Fisher Price, all the good stuff. Ty.
Right, here we go. Here he is.
Oh, Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig. Here's the Dakar trophy.
Yeah, look at that.
Have you seen Joe come Dakar time on his social media? He's in his element, isn't he? With his off-road.
Joe's probably the only person that's not an athlete that has one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is Stefan Petterhansel when he won his 10th Dakar. He gave
you don't need 10 of them, do you?
And that was in 2012. And then January 2020, we obviously just won for the first time in bikes with Ricky Brabeck.
First American to win the Dakar.
That was a big win, an American win on bikes, and then have Casey Curry as an American also win on the side-by-sides all in the same year. That was, 2020 for our brand and for myself and for Dakar. I mean, wow, we had a big year.
Joe?
KT won the Dakar 18 years straight.
Joe?
Yeah.
Ken Block on the show?
Oh, really?
No.
No. Ty, your book in Poland, does it have a different cover?
Yes.
Right. So Julia Kresminska, she wants to buy your book and she's seen that the Polish version has a different cover and she's not sure if it's the same one.
Yeah, same one. They just obviously for it being Polish, they wanted to have the separation of it. But it's the same book, just translated.
Just generated some revenue for you. Enough said.
Here we go.
I don't even know if it's even worth the time and effort that you put into it. Like I enjoyed doing it, but it took like 2 years to get it together. And then like I didn't put any sponsors in it. So I was like, if I do this book and then I get to the end of it and I forgot someone, like I'm going to be the biggest arsehole. And I didn't really name drop anyone because I didn't want to, like you start name dropping people, then you have to name drop everyone. Like, or someone's going to go, like for instance, you earlier on, you go, oh yeah, but I'm not in the book. So that's like a prime example, Charles.
Yeah, but should we tell everyone I am in the book? You just changed my name, yeah?
for people that are close to me, there's codes in there.
Yeah.
Stuff.
So we've got a question here for Joe and for Ty. Do you think that the GP series will change? For example, 2-rider teams like in MotoGP?
No.
Okay, thanks for that.
They tried that, didn't they? They tried that with Team Tatum and all that back in 01, was it?
Greg and Billy did it.
Yeah, they did do it, didn't they? Back in the they tried it. Yeah.
Have you ever tried grass track or long track, Ty?
No. I'll answer that for you.
What do you think? What do you think about about that situation, Joe? Team stuff.
I mean, I think it could work. The only way it could work is if the riders were not the owner of the team and the riders were employees of the team, much like MotoGP or any other factory form of racing. I don't see teams really blossoming without that component, because you got, when you have a team structure, you have 2 of everything. But when you have individuals like in Speedway, you have 2 of everything in each person. So he's got, Ty's got 2 sponsors. Okay, this guy's got 2 sponsors. Are they a conflict? Do they get along? As opposed to saying, okay, let's have one sponsor here that's branded on both riders and really break down the whole team structure that way. And in the end of the day, the rider is an employee, just like you'd say in MotoGP with, Valentino Rossi, for instance. He has his personal deals on his helmet, but you know, the bike, the team, the hauler, everything else is owned by Yamaha.
Sure.
What you got to think as well is like MotoGP and World Superbike, they have a different level of funding because they're actually getting something out of it. So for somebody to walk in and go, okay, like Valentino Rossi is on Yamaha, right? So he wins a championship, Yamaha sells a shit ton of Yamahas. So there's some serious funding there for it. So it works because they write it. But Speedway, you've got some guys are running a Jawa frame or a Stewart. One guy's riding a GM, one guy's riding a GTR, one guy's riding a Jawa. Like there's all these different variables, and there's a lot of people in the sport as well, like that have patented stuff, and you have to use their stuff specifically. Yeah. You know, just rinsing it for what they can with not much involvement, just a under the table kind of thing. So there's all that sort of stuff, and you know, Speedway is just one of them things. Yes, we race in teams at team level, but to do it in a world championship level, I just don't think I don't think there's a benefit from a corporate thing to run a team and have the expense of running the team when we're doing it ourselves anyway. So for instance, Joe can come in and go, right, I want to help you, and you, and he's spread over, you know, 6 guys in the world championship for, you know, and what the price, what it's going to cost to run a team you can only have 2 riders. Yeah. So it's like, you know, what's the best option?
The problem is you can't buy a Speedway bike and go ride it down your local bush track. So there's a saying on road racing and things like that, first on Sunday sells on Monday, you know, in World Superbikes and things like that. If Ducati win the World Superbikes, every half amateur rider now owns a Ducati or Yamaha or the R1s and the Hondas. There's make no bones about it, it's big business on the retail side. Speedway just
for sure,
you know, doesn't have that
aspect.
We're more passionate as fans,
and it's not even always just about, you know, winning races to sell bikes. I mean, you're racing bikes to develop bikes to sell bikes. You know, in the Speedway world, there's no recreational element to the bike. So, you know, it's not like you can go and, hey, let's go ride our Speedway bikes, you know, for the weekend.
Especially with those collapsing forks that Tai rides with.
I wish we had some more crashes.
We got more crashes, but
we tried to keep it within an hour. That's why.
The hour 27.
Get another
you know what? I said to Jerry, I said, you know what Ty's like. He's changed since he's won 3 world titles. He's going to go, you got 15 minutes. You got 15 minutes. And look at you.
That's you know what? You know when I go do them like talk shows with Nigel Pearson?
Yeah. You know, when I first met Ty, and I look back and I look at now, I think Ty is a much wiser person now. He's a much more intelligent person now. He understands more of the moving parts of the game. He was a cocky young punk, but he's that's the past Ty.
Nice boss.
He's definitely grown up a lot, for sure.
Charles is still the little cocky one.
Me?
What?
I shave for you. You want to see me on Tuesday with Chris?
You shaved your head as well, didn't you?
Right. Here we go.
The light.
Okay.
Here we go.
Always crashing yellow tie.
Woffinden just been pushed to the back to 3rd place here. Now he's going to try the inside run. Oh, big crash! Ingram pulled a big locker going into turn 3. Woffinden really had nowhere to go. And that was a really awkward, maybe unintentional.
Oh, Kelvin. Wolfie had nowhere to go. He did. He just chose not to go there.
That was people was like, oh.
What's that feedback we're getting?
I don't know.
These are £9 gamer headsets, mate.
Yeah. Anyway, so going back to what we were talking about before, when I go to them chat shows with Nigel, the amount of people that come up to me after the show and go, you know what? I thought you was an asshole, but you're a good bloke. I'm like, I'm traveling the country, changing people's perception of me one by one.
I've never had that, Ty. Are we out of time, Jez? We could only buy so much time. We're on minimum wage.
Yeah.
I'll tick you up.
I'm getting a book.
Yeah.
We're out of time.
When's the next crash? Not a crash, man.
You're not getting
I
the
really
book,
enjoy
Jerry.
it. I enjoy watching crashes.
He said you legend on the book, Jerry. He said you legend, so you can't be getting the book. Wait. What's the feedback we're getting, Jez?
He's pulling up another video.
What are you in here, Ty?
White.
Oh, you're in white. Change it up. Oh, over the white line.
I think I crashed on lap 4, right? Or lap 3.
That's a short wheelbase.
Well, that'll give me time to find another video for you.
How much do you remember, Ty, of races, mate?
All of it. I clipped old mate's back wheel. I clipped Zengoda's back wheel. Rookie error.
Why'd you clip it?
I lifted.
Fair enough. Ooh.
Yeah, that was a good one. I was knocked out that one for a minute.
Lejno, good
and
track.
They didn't even fucking red flag it. I'm late on the track. So,
trying to get a restart.
A little bit of a lift. Oh no. Oh shit. There's a fence. Bump.
Lights out.
Sleeping. Having a nap.
There's a lot of videos of you. There's a lot of videos of the bike falling to bits.
Hey, can we watch one heat? Can we put in Tai Woffinden, heat 19, Cardiff?
Upload
and
it
can you play
yourself,
it? Can you play it next Tuesday as well with Greg?
Oh yes, I know the one now. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the ads.
It's quite a lineup. Kasper Zak off the inside with Hancock going off gate number 2, Tai Woffinden on 3, and Niels Christian Everson going off the outside gate as well.
You know what we were saying before about passing people clean? Yeah, prime example right here.
If you say so yourself.
He's number 19, quite a lineup. And Woffinden's been left standing at the start. It's Hancock.
Look at Greg's start every time.
Yeah, machine, eh?
And here comes Woffinden.
And there goes Woffinden to the back. Oh, Jerry, sort your fucking internet out, mate.
Woffinden goes wide. He's going to try the inside switch, and Everson's come through, and now Woffinden up the inside.
I clipped his back wheel as well.
Yeah.
Woffinden again in the second place. Everson coming back at him hard down the back straight. Woffinden just about gets himself back into.
And on the next lap, I nearly ran into Greg. I had to lift my foot off the right foot peg so that the bike turned more. Otherwise, I would have ran into him. Would have steamrolled him.
Coming off the corner?
No, in the middle of the corner. I had to take my foot off because he clamped me right there.
Yeah.
Here it comes again! Woffinden!
Clean as you like.
Charges up the inside!
He should be sponsored by Daz.
Woffinden has just passed the world champion! He's gone from last to first! The race of the night!
Then the roof comes off, Ty. How much can you hear of that, mate?
Yeah, you can hear it after. You can hear it during. You can stop that now, Jerry. You can hear it during. So I don't know. I don't know where I can't. It was. I don't know what heat it was or where it was, but I passed somebody to the front. I heard the crowd like on the second lap, and it was like I could legit hear it. It's crazy, so insane, man. But there's things that people don't see, like in that race, right? So them little things that I can remember because I was on the bike and I was doing it, but the crash I had in 2013 with Golob and Nikki at Cardiff, where I ran into them because I was coming in too hot. So that was going to happen then with Greg on that corner, but we're a few years down the line, and I was towing in and I was understeering a bit, and I was going, I'm going to run into him, and I took my foot off the foot peg, which took the weight off the back wheel, which made it turn so that I didn't hit him. And then I started to transfer the weight on the bike to get it to hook up down the straight. And the first lap, when I turned back and Everson Kasperzak went under me, as I started coming through to pass Everson, I clipped his back wheel, just skimmed it. And they're the things that you don't see watching videos, but because I was there, I can see it as it was happening. Crazy.
Richard Martin's getting really angry. He's got red emojis. I don't know where he got red emojis from, Jerry. There must be a separate app on something. But for the fourth time, he asks, do you think Cardiff SGP 2020 will be on because they have tickets? We're not the organisers.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's really, really simple. If you just in every country, what's going on in the country in England right now? Do you honestly think an event of 40,000 people is going to happen on the date on the date that it's scheduled today? And if even if that date gets moved, when is it going to get moved to? Because keep in mind that stadium is booked months in advance of so just because you postpone an event, and this is harder in the bigger stadiums versus the smaller permanent venues, to go in there and build it, they need a week, right? So of course it's not canceled, and I don't think any promoter in any sport is going to cancel any event until the authorities tell them that they have to. Yeah.
The red emoji thing must be working. Tara Miller says, would you ever consider riding in Britain again, Ty? Geez, they get angry, don't they?
Probably. Well, yeah, I do ride in Britain every year. Ride at Cardiff every year. Speedway Nations is at Manchester this year. But as far as British League's concerned, I doubt it. But never say never. I don't know what the situation is. But I know that when I'm at the airport and we're flying to Sweden on a Tuesday morning from Stansted, all the boys are doing is shit canning it. All they're doing is saying how shit the track is and how bad this was and how bad that was. No one's going, man, last night was fucking sick. The track was locked down. It was good. It was grippy. We was racing. There's none of that talk. None of that talk whatsoever. So while the boys keep talking like that, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
I appreciate your honesty there, mate.
Yeah.
We've got a birthday request here. Can you say happy birthday to Frida, is it?
Frida Slabs.
Yeah, go for that.
Frida, happy birthday, Frida. Yeah. Hope you're getting wild.
Good shout out.
What's going on with the black engagement ring from?
America.
There you go. Joe, you had a question. What was that?
But it turns out that Faye.
What's going on with your Swedish club?
What's going on with what, Joe?
What's happening with your Swedish
club?
I don't know. I actually thought about calling him the other day just to see how they are. Obviously, with me, deciding that I wasn't going to race in Sweden this year, that was a decision based on being able to spend a little bit more time at home, focus on my nutrition and my fitness, and have a real good crack at winning another world title and put everything into it and not be fatigued at any point in the year. And if people actually wrote our schedule down and the times that we go to sleep and the times we wake up and actually looked at it and tried it for just 2 weeks, let alone 6 months, I think they'd struggle. It's savage. I was definitely going to call Simon Gustafsson. I still will, just have a catch up with him. He's a real cool guy. I obviously raced against him in our junior days, and he's running the club at Kumla, Indiana. So cool club. Like if I was going to go back to Sweden, that's where I'd go.
Yeah.
I know they've had their issues in the past with the people that was running it before, but they're running it properly as a business and it's working.
Joe, I've got a question for you. Have you started speaking to Discovery about the GPs in 2022, and how do you think their involvement will be? Will it be a positive for your brand?
Well, I mean, no, I have not spoken to anybody over at Discovery. Our agreement with our current sponsorship does not continue with the new ownership. That's yet to be negotiated, yet to be talked about. But no, we have not discussed anything with anyone from the entity over there.
Do you think it's a positive thing about not just for Monster, but for Speedway in general?
I mean, hey, change is always good. That's for sure.
Me and Joe are going to run our own series. Haven't you heard that yet?
I don't know. Who are these people? I don't know.
International nobodies.
If they have the passion and the love for Speedway, then I guess we already know who they are, but maybe they haven't identified themselves. I don't know. I don't know who's involved.
Right. Okay. Tai, can you say hi to Oscar, please?
Oscar, what's going on, champ?
Getting lots of these now. Say, Tara Miller, can you say hi to my 5-year-old daughter, Lexi, please? You're a favourite rider. She loved a birthday message last year from you as well. Please, Tai, Lexi, 5-year-old.
Hi, Lexi. I hope you're having a great day, and don't repeat anything I've said on here.
I have a theory with this, that if the child actually knows what you're saying, then it's more to do with their parenting than it is with...
Oh, Jezza!
Saying these bad words. So it's a get out of jail free there.
Riley's dropped a few out. So Faye bought this, when we was in Australia, she bought this buzzer, and it's a bullshit buzzer. So like when someone's like talking, you just go, bullshit, and it keeps saying it. So Riley just picked it up, boom. She's walking in the house going, bullshit. Bullshit. I'm like, no, shut up.
Brilliant.
Oh,
So
Tai,
good.
only you would have that in the house around youngsters, mate. That's...
But hey,
dude,
hey guys,
I
gotta get going here.
Yeah.
all right, Joe, thanks for coming on, mate.
See you, Joe. We're up all night, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got Tai and Charles in. No one's going to get a word in edgeways.
Joe, that parcel you're sending, mate, is it courier, or I'll wait a couple of days to get it, mate? Or...
Oh, dude, it's going to be hand delivered.
Perfect. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for coming on, mate. Legend.
I'm going to shake your hand and give you a hug, and that's how I'll deliver it personally.
Mate, hey, not during the virus, mate. You can't catch it twice.
Oh, no, I'll just be disguised as a Lysol can.
Hey, Charlie. I'll sterilize it before I send it.
Thanks very much, bud.
How long did you stay on books for?
Yeah.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, Joe.
See you soon.
Oh, fantastic. We'll wrap it up.
How bad is it? How bad is it doing a fucking food shop?
What do you mean?
Now? Yeah.
I went to Asda the other day, right, at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I left there at 1 o'clock in the
Well,
afternoon.
there's your problem, Tai.
3 hours.
Celebrity.
I had to queue to get in, and then
sign your own book.
Which
I don't even know who you are.
I know. I'll be like, look, if you don't let me in right now, you can take my books off the shelf.
If they're on the shelf, they're not selling, Tai.
Asda is the only supermarket chain that has an extra chapter in the book.
Right, we've got another message. Tai?
From the boss.
Yeah.
Tai, would you like dinner? I'm starving, and I've only got 10% anyway. So,
hey, cool,
mate. Listen, mate. On behalf of all our viewers,
listen.
on behalf of all our viewers, mate, you're an absolute bloody legend for doing this. You've really put, I guess, some smiles and happiness on people's faces, because you literally
you don't know them. You can't talk for them.
Well, if they put it on the comments, they're smiling. Let's go for the emojis. But listen, mate, really thanks for coming on. I'm sure we'll see you throughout the season. I can't wait to get the book with the autograph and the lick.
Listen, if I do go to Poland and I'm quarantining, I'm going to be sat in the apartment for 2 weeks.
We'll call you again.
We can talk about some more shit.
All right, actually, not a bad idea. In Poland, talking about real life stuff, beautiful. Listen, mate. It's people said it couldn't be done. Like, this is our second show, and we've had 4 world titles between 2 riders. Greg next week. Really appreciate your time tonight, mate. Jake Goff just said, "Who's your favourite?" It's not even a question. It's Charlesy all day long, not Jerry. Look,
sorry, Jerry.
Yeah, go and have your dinner, mate. Thanks again. And if you can come back on the show during the year, we'd really appreciate it as well.
See you in 2 weeks.
See you, mate. Bye. Wow, Charlesy, how's that?
Jeez, he can talk.
Yeah.
All right. Look, just to recap, we know a bit about Poland. Ty's let it all out of the bag. And Greg Hancock is confirmed for next Tuesday as our 3rd guest on the show, where we will deep dive into what was a sensational career. It might even be a 2-parter, but really appreciate the feedback from the guys. We've got enough people, Jerry, to keep this going for a good few months now, and hopefully we'll do what the fans want.
There is an extra element about Tuesday. There is a special guest.
Yes.
Only a rumour at the moment, and that rumour could be sensational.
You gave a little clue earlier, didn't you? So
I did give a little clue earlier. Yeah,
there's
a little clue earlier on. So you could watch back and put your guesses in the comments. I don't think you're ever going to get this one. This is pretty special.
Keep a lookout for the post tomorrow to confirm times and whatnot with Greg, because a massive time difference. I'm sure you'll all find time to tune in. Thanks for watching, guys. It's what a show, an hour and 50 minutes with Woofy. Couldn't have hoped for anything more. I got a book out of it. Enough said, really.
Yeah.
Jejo, we'll talk soon. Everyone keep safe, stay inside, protect the NHS, keep well, and let's bring on Speedway as soon as we can. Thanks, guys.
Adios. See ya. Bye.